Welcome back to Cooking with Kayla D. I'm Kayla, and that's my husband Randy. Today we're going to be making a low country shrimp boil. Your ingredients: you'll need 1.5 pounds of raw shrimp, uncooked, 4 to 6 red potatoes, 2 to 4 corn on the cob, 1 tablespoon of Old Bay seasoning, 1/2 tablespoon of garlic powder, 1/2 tablespoon of onion powder, 1 teaspoon of cayenne pepper, 1 tablespoon of lemon juice, and 1 stick of butter. Then you'll want to get a stock pot and fill it a little over halfway with water and put that on your stove on high and get that water boiling. While your water is boiling, we're going to go ahead and get our vegetables prepped. You want to cut your potatoes the size that is good for you and your family. I cut mine about half of the size of a walnut, just into cubes. I left the peeling on because we like the peeling. It's got a lot of vitamins and nutrition in it. But if you don't, of course, take it off. Also, we did 2 potatoes per person because we used a medium-sized red potatoes, and that was plenty for just me and my husband. If you're going to be cooking for more than 2 people, you'll want to double this recipe. It's for 2 people, so if you want it for 4, double it. It's 6, triple it. So now that our water is hot and up to temperature, we're going to go ahead and add our potatoes in there, and we're going to go ahead and get to prepping our corn. We chose 3 corn on the cob because this is a simple, easy, low boil recipe. It's just a quick, like 30-minute recipe to enjoy a low boil without having to go through all those tedious steps and adding all those ingredients. A lot of times my husband and I will have crab or lobster and sometimes clams and mussels even into our low country boils, but today we just wanted to show you a very simple, easy way to enjoy a low country boil without having to do it and cook it for a long period of time. So this is just a quick 30-minute recipe from start to finish. So you go ahead and peel your corn. You can get this already cleaned too. I know Aldi sells it already cut and cleaned into cobs, so you don't have to fuss with that part of it. But for us, we ordered our corn, and then we had that yellow corn from before our last grocery haul. So I went ahead and just shucked it and cleaned it myself. And I cut off the tip because sometimes they're not all that, There's corn missing. Sometimes there's no corn at all, or it's just really weird. But the tip of corn is just really bad. So I cut it off for our own purpose reasons. But if you just take your knife and you be careful and gently press in the corner of your knife into the corn, you should be able to break your corn. If you can't, just press it again, being very gentle, not putting your fingers under the knife. You just wiggle on it and boom, your cob should just break right off. See here, I cut the tip off again for some reason. I don't know why. I've just always cut the tip off of the corn. So then you pick what size you want. You can cut it smaller, bigger, you can leave it whole, whatever you want to do. For me, I decided that cutting it into thirds would be a good way of doing our corn. And see, it just breaks right off. And I always take that corner and I try to jam it down in there, and then I wiggle it back and forth towards the corn each way, and it generally will snap it, and then boom, you just finish popping it. It's just very easy for me to cut corn like that, so that's how I do it. And some corn is easier and some isn't. The more water that the corn on the cob is actually getting, the easier it will be to cut it because it's full of juice in that inner core. Otherwise, it's going to be a little bit tougher. But still, it was sweet and delicious, all of it. So after you get that all cut, you'll want to rinse it off again before you put it into your pot. And go ahead and add it in with your potatoes. Then we're going to go ahead and clean our shrimp I bought it frozen from Sam's Club, already deveined and shelled, just the tails were on there. So I went ahead and cleaned it really, really good, and then I went ahead and filled my bowl up with cold water to make sure it was covered, just to keep it wet and moist. And then I started removing the tails because I didn't want to fuss with having those tails on while we were enjoying our dinner and having to pull those off. We like to just get in there and eat. That's just how we are. So I remove them beforehand. Yes, they do bring added flavor into the broth, but I just didn't want to fuss with it today. We're just doing an easy one, so get rid of them. So the way I remove my tails is in between the tail and the shell there, I pinch and I pull the shrimp the opposite direction as I'm pinching. And you end up getting all of the meat out of the shell by doing it that way. Otherwise, you'll generally lose it. So you definitely want to be pinching in between the tail and that hard shell that's on the shrimp. And just pull and wiggle back and forth gently and it will pop right out. Go ahead and rinse your shrimp one more time and set them aside for cooking. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and do my seasoning. We use Old Bay seasoning because it's not quite as salty as the other seafood boil seasonings. We don't like real salty things, so that's what we use. And then we did a half tablespoon of the garlic powder, a full tablespoon of that Old Bay, a half tablespoon of onion powder, and then we also did 1 teaspoon of cayenne pepper. Now, if you don't like spicy things, just do not put the cayenne in there. We, however, like spice, so we add cayenne. So go ahead and add that seasoning blend right into your stock pot with your corn and your potatoes and give it a quick stir. Make sure you get that seasoning mixed all in there. And then once you have your seasoning all mixed in there, go ahead and set a timer, because now that your stock pot is boiling and you've got most of your ingredients in there, you're going to want to cook that for 20 minutes. And me, oh my, I forgot to put the lemon juice in there. So I didn't have any fresh lemons on hand, but I did have some lemon juice in the fridge. So I'm going to go ahead and add a tablespoon of lemon juice right now. And that's just going to give it some good acidity into our boil. Next, I'm going to go ahead and prep my butter. I cut up my butter into smaller cubes, put them in microwave safe bowls. And we don't put seasoning into ours. And if you do add seasoning into your butter, you'll want to do it after you microwave your butter. But if you're cooking it on the stove, then that's fine. You can just add it right to it. Go ahead and add your shrimp in once your 20-minute timer has gone off. And make sure that you gently mix that into your bowl. Very, very gently. I cook mine because we don't like our shrimp rubbery, so we do that when there is about 3 minutes left, because you don't want to cook your shrimp longer than 3 minutes when you're boiling it. Otherwise, it's going to be tough, it's going to be overcooked and be rubbery. If you want it to be tender and you want it to be like it's supposed to be and have that rich buttery flavor, then you only cook it for 3 minutes. I drain mine and I dump it on a big sheet tray as soon as it's done. And then I go ahead and move the corn around and get the other stuff above the corn, just to make it more easier to kind of grab things out, because we take the whole tray to the table. And now I have both of my bowls of butter melted, so I'll put that on the tray. And then I also douse it with a little bit of Old Bay again right onto the top. We use our butter dishes and we dip our food into the butter. We do not pour it on top, because you lose a lot of the butter if you just pour it on top of the tray. So we don't do that, but you do what is comfortable for you and your family. And this is how I set up my table. We have a plate in the middle of our plates, and that is to put our corn on the cob once we're done eating that. So we have a trash plate in between us, and then we also have our plates. And that's how we enjoy our lovely low country bowl. This is a simple, easy 30-minute recipe. Thank you for being here again with Cooking with Kayla D. My husband Randy and I really appreciate your support. And from here in Myrtle Beach, we say again, God bless you. We hope you come back, and we hope you enjoy the fact that we share these photos with you that we take throughout our time living here in Myrtle Beach. It is just so beautiful here with the Carolina forest and the beautiful beaches of the Grand Strand, and we hope you enjoy sharing it with us. God created it for us all, and from sunrise to sunset, God gives us the best views we could ever get. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe and hit that notification bell so you get updated videos. Also, like, share, and comment. We appreciate your support here on Cooking with Kayla D, and welcome to our community.
And God will wipe away every tear from their eyes. There shall be no more death, nor sorrow, nor crying. There shall be no more pain, for the former things have passed away. Revelation 21:4.
My disclaimer: